Okay, we're live. Huzzah. Okay, I'm going to open this one while no one's here to listen to me yet by saying if you're finding this after the fact, this was not necessarily meant as something for you to listen to later as a really entertaining and cool thing. It is strictly an excuse to attempt to connect with my viewers in the morning, say hello, and chat about disc golf a little bit. So it's not really meant to be consumed later down the line, but rather to kind of chat with folks in the moment. I only leave these live in public after the fact, just in case anybody felt like listening to it for whatever reason. I don't want to like take it away, I guess. Not a pro disc golf morning. Steven, good morning. I'm a bit echoey. It could be because I'm right in front of this window. I'm gonna have to let it ride. The sound is always pretty rough for these. What's going on, guys? Right in front of the old window. How's that? Is that any better? I backed up the window just a touch. Stephen Osmond, hello. Uh-oh. Well, at least you got out and did some throwing, Stephen. You can't win them all. Making progress on luck of the draw in Salem. Very nice. That's cool. That's close enough for me to make the trip down. I will absolutely do that. If it's within a couple hours of Portland, I will very much attempt to get down there for that. It looks so fun. I just started watching the next one from Kansas City last night. I watched the first part. I think that's all that's out currently, but yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff, man. It looks so fun. Some good shots on this one from Kansas City as well. Some good throws. I was impressed. Stoked that I have a guest for the Disc Golf Nerd Plastic podcast we recorded last night. I'm not going to tell you who it was. You'll have to find out. You'll have to go look. Once it, I'll probably try to post it Sunday night or Monday morning, one of the two. Wheatland DGC. Yeah, I need to go out there. Phil Cannon, good morning. Morning from Portland. How does that work? Not a pro, you just reach out to them and you have to set it up through the club, or how does that all work? It sounds really cool, and I'm definitely hoping that they do have one of those somewhere in Oregon area after or before Beaver State. It's perfect. Because we know Ricky and Paige will be there as defending champions, since it is one of the best events of the calendar of the year, really. Charlotte, North Carolina. I would love to come visit you guys and play some of those beautiful wooded courses. Not sure when I'll ever get the chance to do that, but Charlotte looks pretty awesome as a disc golfer. Let's see what else I have to tell you guys about. Not a whole lot. Should be done or almost done testing a couple more molds. I have the review for tomorrow morning ready to rock. And yeah, I'm going to try to keep the ball rolling. I am going to be on the East Coast area for a couple of weeks next month, so I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to be able to do reviews that whole time, if I'll be able to get enough of them like kind of backed up in the queue to go live with during those couple of weeks that I'm gone, but we'll have to see. Come on down, do a few rounds. Yeah, I absolutely would. And if I was ever going to be in that area, there's no doubt about it, I'd be trying to play some golf when I'm down there. Whoa, big truck. A lot of people on the road this morning. Usually there's more foot traffic over here, but just a lot of people driving on by. I am here. I have my mocha this morning. I switched it up a little bit. Every once in a while, I'll go away from the drip and do a latte, and very rarely I'll do a mocha, but I'm really enjoying it. It's delicious right now. So good. I am a fan. Question came in. Are you a push or a spin putter? I would probably say push, I guess. I more or less try to emulate Paul Macbeth's form. I clearly fall short of doing that to some degree, but that's definitely what I'm going for out there. I try to visualize him when I'm standing there. It just, for some reason, just works well for me. I kind of visualize the basket in a similar manner. I hold my putter out in front of me in a similar manner. I bring it down very slow, straight down rather than pulling it into my body and then spinning it out. I bring it much lower down towards my hips and then try to come pretty much straight out with a little bit of a wrist pop at the end to get it to just project out and put that little bit of spin on it to get it to hold straight. But I would imagine, yeah, probably push, I guess, out of those two. I'm not sure if my putt would technically be considered like a blend of the two or what the case may be. I'm not really sure. Wild Will, good morning from Florida. What's up, Will? Thanks for stopping by. Phil Cannon, are you going to be going to USDGC? Are you close enough to go cruise in there and watch the rounds? Will, I hope you and all your family and loved ones are safe after all that hurricane activity down there. Hopefully you didn't have too much damage to your property or anything like that. Happy to report that after sustained rains, cooler temperatures, and just a lot of firefighting efforts, the fires in the Columbia River Gorge are mostly under control at this point. I think they've turned the corner and are in pretty good shape out there. They've lifted all evacuation notices are lifted, which is great, and all of the some of the state parks are open again. Some of them are not so much. Wild Will, it missed you guys. That's awesome. I'm very happy to hear that. Hopefully most folks got through relatively unscathed. I didn't hear too much about it, to be honest, but we're so far outside of that, and we had this fire thing was like all over the news for us because it was a pretty big deal, and it's still not good. Like a lot of the places are going to be closed for an indefinite period of time, but I'm happy to report Rooster Rock State Park, which is one of my principal disc testing grounds and one of my favorite like home courses, is open and totally fine. Dabney State Park is open again, all that good stuff. Riley Spencer, good morning. Thanks for stopping by. Howlin' Beast, hello. What's cracking? Got a few people in here. Anybody got any questions for me? Any suggestions for stuff you'd like to see from me? Let me know. I have a Vibram review to come out tomorrow morning. That should be a lot of fun. And then after that, I started testing some MVP and also another Westside mold, keeping the ball rolling. After that, I'm not sure where I'm going to go next. After that, we'll see. I do have a basket coming to me. I ordered one the other day from Basket Bashers, and I'm really excited to get a practice basket set up to start doing some testing of putters and stuff. I can actually do more putting testing out at fields and at home and stuff now with putters, which will be great. And then also just to be able to do my own practice putting. I'm really excited about that. Hoping to potentially put together an indoor putting league this winter, but I'm not really sure if it's going to happen for me or not. We'll have to see. Any Axiom? Nope, no Axiom discs in the testing queue, but I did order the Axiom basket, and I will be reviewing that once I get it. But I'm testing the MVP Relativity, I believe. Got a bunch of throwing reviews still need to do. Convict, Escape, and just got a Freedom, says not a pro disc golf. Right on. The Escape is a great disc, as is the Convict. Convict's in my bag. The Escape isn't currently. I had thrown one for a while when they shortly after they had been released. Great flyers, though. I have a Fury in the bag now, which is kind of like an understable complement to the Escape, which I like quite a bit. And my buddy Anthony, who I've been playing disc golf with a little bit lately in the last few months or so, he's got a nice Air Escape and I think a regular Escape too that both fly really nice. Matthew Q, hello, says he's got the new Lazat PD3. It rocks. Also ordered the MD4. Nice. Wild Willed, have you thrown a Criminal before? I have not. In fact, speaking to my guest last night, he was talking about the Criminal, and I realized that I have not reviewed one of those yet. I might have to reach out to DD and see about getting one. It's just, I don't know, certain times with discs like that, I could review the Criminal for you right now without testing it. And of course, I could show you the rim profiles and all, and talk about the feel in the hand and all the stuff that I like to do in the reviews. But the Criminal's super overstable. It's faster than a Felon, and it's more overstable than a Felon. Throw it as hard as you want. It's going to go hard left, forehands, overhead shots, spikes, headwinds. I mean, it's one of those things where when you have a super overstable disc like that, I pretty much know what it's going to do already. Sometimes those reviews are kind of boring for me to film because I feel like I'm just saying the same thing I said about like every other overstable fairway, you know, kind of thing. But I'm definitely interested to check one out. I have a Triple X in the bag right now, which is slower and probably a little bit more overstable overall than a Felon. And the Criminal is like the same thing on the other side of it, where it might get a little more distance, a little more speed. So I am interested to try one out, and I will get there eventually. I've got so much other stuff to test already that I haven't actually just reached out to see if they'll send me one. I'm sure they would if I get in touch with them. Is Bradley Williams on the roster for USDGC? I'm not really sure. You'd have to check the PGA website for that, or maybe even I'm not even sure. Is it the Disc Golf Pro Tour website for that now? I'm really not sure. But yeah, I would think he is, but I'm not 100% sure if he's qualified or not. So yeah, this is my old neighbor just walked by. I don't think he recognized me. I have an old Discraft ESP Pulse. It's a little heavy, so I thought a nice lighter, overstable driver would be a good distance driver for me to use the Pulse on windy days. Says Wild Will. I have not thrown a Pulse. I'm not exactly sure how overstable they are, but I've heard that the Criminals are extremely overstable. Not a pro disc golf says I have a hard enough time getting the arm speed up for my Convict. Yeah, I hear you. It's kind of funny hearing like pro players talk about the Convict like it's this neutral disc with a bunch of natural turn. You can throw turnovers with it or hyzer flips and stuff. Like that's not how it flies for me. If I throw it strong, maybe the one I have is slightly more stable, but I also throw with a hyzer release. I don't have a ton of power, and I think for me, you know, I'll throw it if I need to go straight for a while and then finish pretty strong left. That's what I throw it for. Accuracy, kind of low hyzers, it works pretty well for as well because if I take a little energy off of it, kind of in like a mid-range distance, but I throw that thing a little more flat, it'll fade pretty good on me if I don't put a lot of power on it. I could see if you had more power that it would be more neutral, but for me it's just pretty straight overall with a little consistent fade at the end of the flight. Or if I keep it on hyzer or take a little bit of energy off of it, I can throw a really smooth hyzer all the way with the Convict that I like quite a bit. Do you follow the amateur series as well? If so, who's your favorite amateur? Nope, I really don't. I've never been into like amateur sports or college sports or anything like that. I want to see the best in the world compete. That's pretty much all I really care about. I never get into it if it's not a professional thing. I'm not sure why. And there's so many amateurs out there, I couldn't really keep track anyway, unless there was like some type of coverage channel that was strictly covering all the amateur events and keeping you up to date with all the top amateurs in the country and how they're doing, and like give me time to kind of build a relationship in my head with those kind of players, like just to keep track of who they are and get to know them enough to care. But yeah, I don't really know anything about amateurs until they start breaking into the pro ranks and I start seeing them on coverage and that sort of thing. Not a pro disc golf says check USDGC. Don't see Bradley registered as a competitor. I don't think he could be because he's been out for this entire season, so I don't see how he could possibly be registered or qualified, rather. Because you have to qualify for USDGC. It's not like you just sign up and pay the money. You have to have some type of qualification process. I'm not exactly sure how it works. I know Paige Pierce is qualified for it, and she will be competing, and I'm extremely excited to see how that all works out. And I'm really hoping some kind of film crew is out there filming her card so we can keep track of how she's doing. And I have a feeling she's going to do quite well. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. Live here in Illinois. I met the #1 ranked Am, which is why I care. Totally. Right. Again, so if I had a personal relationship with any of them, I would absolutely be interested in keeping track of that. And any of the players that I've met or interacted with, I'll usually make a point of keeping track of how they're doing at events. You know, I'll always look through for Dana Vici or people like that I've actually played rounds with, even though it was years ago. every time I run back into Dana out here in Oregon for Beaver State, he always remembers me. He's always super warm and kind, says hello, and really solid dude. Just a super nice guy. So anybody I know personally like that, I'll always make sure I check where Tina finished for an event and see how she's doing, because I know her a little bit and that sort of thing. I'm sure I would do that for amateurs as well. Wild Will says, right now the only decent YouTube channel I've found that follows what's happening in disc golf is Jomez. Haven't found better or similar quality coverage. Yeah, you're not going to find anybody better than Jomez. They are definitely the pinnacle of our sport right now in terms of coverage. Spin TV is quite good, but a lot of times the really good stuff on Spin TV is Jomez doing the work and then just being contracted to do the work on there. Central Coast does great work, and then they've grown by leaps and bounds in the time that I've been following them to the point now where they do really nice, great footage and the slow motion, and they have a lot of great aspects to their coverage as well. Smashbox does a really great job of the live coverage. They're definitely the best we have. Pretty much the only show in town for live coverage for disc golf, and I think they do really well whenever they have the technology working with them in order to make it happen. Terry Miller, disc golf guy, he does plenty of great stuff on his own as well. Who am I forgetting here? I haven't seen anything from Disc Golf Monthly in a little while. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But I'm not sure what's going on with that. But I used to really like that channel very much. My heart goes out to anybody who knows Carl Cubbage. I'm not sure if he's officially passed away at this point, but I know that his time was short, and my heart breaks for Cubby and his family. He seems like a really great guy, and I loved watching him and listening to him on Disc Golf Monthly. When I first started out, I learned a lot from him. Yeah. Prodigy is Marty McGee, who I have a tremendous amount of support respect for. I kind of miss the old days where it was just Marty McFly and it was his own channel, and he did however he wanted to, and he would switch the music up more. And he never did commentary, but I don't really need that so much as long as I can see the shots. I actually like to be able to hear the players banter and the sound of the course. And the sound of the chains and all that kind of stuff. I really don't mind that if that's all I'm getting and I'm not getting any commentary. That doesn't bother me. But I've grown very accustomed to Jomez's style, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. And I think they're definitely it's hard to argue that they're putting out the best stuff out there right now for sure. ESPN just needs to start airing it on TV. It's popular enough. I hear that. Honestly, I feel like they don't even have to do like any extra production. Just give us a time slot to play Jomez coverage on ESPN. I think it would fit right in. I mean, honestly, it looks crisp. What else do you need? I mean, I don't know. I think it's totally dialed in enough that it could go straight on TV. Here's a little side rant though, as it pertains to TV. TV's dying. YouTube is the new TV. We don't need TV. All we need is people to continue growing their YouTube channels. There are YouTube channels where 16-year-old girls talk about nail polish and they get millions of views on there. Like, we don't need TV at all. All we need to do is continue growing the game and continue growing these channels. We have access to literally almost everyone on the planet to watch stuff on YouTube. You don't have to have cable, you don't have to have anything. You have to have a smartphone and access to Wi-Fi, which a ridiculous amount of people on Earth have at this point. So YouTube and the internet in general is the future of entertainment. And I think, like, everybody being worried about, oh, it needs to be on ESPN or we need to be on whatever, like, I don't care at all. I mean, sure, that would, if we were all of a sudden on TV, it would generate more sponsorship dollars for our players, which is great. But at the same time, we could easily just grow to a level, like Jomez's channel could grow to a level where they have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subs and a ton of people are watching the content at all times, and that alone could translate to more money coming into our sport. So I'm not one of these guys that's really hamming for disc golf to be on TV. I think TV is a dying media that will be going away really soon and being switched over to YouTube. I'm, in fact, about to very soon probably get the YouTube cable provider set up. And I guess in that respect, you could say that TV will stick around, but it'll kind of transition onto YouTube or onto the internet streaming media side of things rather than just having a cable company. But realistically, I mean, I was just watching Dude Perfect last night, and they're just a bunch of, like, kind of frat boy type dudes that do trick shots, and these guys are making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just doing that. And it's just because they have that many people watching their channel. They don't need to be on TV. They don't need to do any of that stuff. They have complete control of what they do unto themselves and are not beholden to anybody other than their sponsors and themselves. And I think that could totally be the same thing for disc golf. We can grow as big as we're able to grow. We can grow on YouTube, and I don't think we need TV by any means. Matthew Q says stream or die, not a pro disc golf. That's true. I do like hearing them too. I've enjoyed the player commentary. Sure. That's what's nice about Jomez, is that they have the players talking, breaking down the hole, giving some personal insight into what's going on. The commentary that I really don't feel like I need is when it's just two guys watching it that weren't playing in the event, and they're just kind of describing what's going on. I don't need you to tell me that he threw a hyzer flip with a putter. I can see that for myself. Unless you know, unless you're providing something that I can't readily just tell by looking, I just don't really need the commentary. That's where I think Jomez sets themselves apart, is that they have these pro-level players that are competing in the events, or sometimes it's, Nate Sexton or somebody. Even if he's not there, he brings a tremendous amount of knowledge to the table, which I think works really well and is super helpful and is interesting to listen to. But I do miss being able to hear the conversations that the players have, or them talking to the disc when they throw it, and I like that sort of stuff, and I think that's what Prodigy does well, and he has done well in the past. Stephen Osmond says another boost in technology to enhance live coverage in the woods for YouTube is something that will explode disc golf. Yeah, if we could continue being able to provide live coverage at all times and not have it be choppy or anything like that, that could be really big for us. I agree. Cable is expensive for something we used to get for free. Miss the airwaves days. Yeah, cable is ridiculously expensive, man. It's intense. I've been looking into it right now. The YouTube cable thing is like $35 a month, and you get 40 channels with an unlimited cloud DVR. It's a pretty awesome setup where you can you save stuff to the cloud. You can watch it on any device. So I can watch my stuff that's in my DVR on my phone at work or in an airport or something like that. That's pretty rad. It's almost certainly going to happen for me relatively soon, because I can't keep paying cable. It's too much, man. Not a pro disc golf says Pages, oh man, yeah, or Ricky says junk, or he'll throw it and be like, oh no, and then it'll just fly perfectly right to the basket. I like hearing that kind of stuff. Wild Will says, as a newer player, I like it when they get in detail about what's happening because I can learn something or hear something that I can try to incorporate into my game. Absolutely. That is exactly the kind of role that I described earlier with Carl Covage, and I believe in the early days it was Matt LaCourte. They were doing Disc Golf Monthly, and they would describe the shots and how these players were approaching these different shots and different angles with the discs they were using and stuff. And I found it very beneficial as a younger player. I know I just said that the kind of commentary I don't need is when it's just guys watching it, but those guys were all very familiar with the courses that they were watching, and often Matt LaCourte or Covey had both played in the event, even if they're not on the card that was being covered, or they've just played those courses enough that they know how to attack them. And yeah, they do. You can learn a lot from that, just in somebody describing how an approach, how these players are approaching attacking some of these holes. You can definitely learn a lot from that. Matthew Q says, I LOL with pros when they say junk or oh man, but ends up pretty sweet or even a bird. Yeah. The Jomez the other day, Jeremy Colling was talking about that, how like every time Ricky releases a disc, he's like, oh, or like he's upset with it in some way, and then it just flies perfectly straight to the basket. Oh, it's kind of funny. He's a perfectionist though. The heart wants what it wants, you know. He wants it to be flawless. He wants it to go straight up in there and fly on the exact angle and release that he wants. And sometimes there's those nuances to it where it's not flying exactly the way he intended by any means. So he's like justified in saying junk or whatever because he's upset with the release. But the outcome still works out, so it doesn't really matter. For you and I looking at it, we go, oh, well, he parked it, whatever. But for Ricky, if he threw it on a different angle and a different release, a slightly different power or whatever the case may be, that's not good for him. Trying to compete against the absolute best players in the game and some of the best players in the history of the game, like Paul Macbeth, and you know, you can't be mostly good is not good enough. You know what I'm saying? You got to strive for that perfection at all times to be able to do stuff like Ricky does, where he wins these major events and world championships and all that kind of stuff. Nice. Fun time chatting with you gentlemen this morning. I assume you're all gentlemen at least. Sorry if I'm incorrect in that assumption. I believe I've seen all male names here. I worry about that sometimes reading the questions on my question and answer episodes of the Plastic Podcast, that a couple of times I would refer to the person as though they were a male, not really knowing if that was the case based on the screen name or whatever. I guess I just kind of assume that there aren't a lot of women that watch my stuff, but maybe I'm wrong. There must be at least a few. I've got like 4,500 subscribers or so. So there's got to be at least a few ladies out there. Have you guys seen the new Innova pumpkin Halloween discs for this year? Looks super rad, and I'm hoping to go pick up one of the Star Rock X3s with the pumpkin stamp on it to review for Halloween. I'm going to do like a Halloween disc review. It should be kind of fun, and I'm probably going to hold on to it for myself too, because I think it's just a cool disc. I like to have certain discs just kind of hanging out. That lady's Mickey Mouse sweater was rad. I don't know if you guys saw that. All right, looking at about a half hour. Anybody got anything for me? Any questions? Any comments? Concerns? Voice them now. I might need to go soon. Matthew Q says he needs to get a rock. Great. Rocks are solid discs. Hard to go wrong with a rock. DX rock, KC rock. Rock 3s are solid. A little bit more stable probably. A little faster. I have a buddy who throws a DX rock. My buddy Anthony, it's kind of funny. He throws DX rocks, and his first DX rock was won through a giveaway on my channel, which is pretty awesome. He won that, and he still throws them today, which is kind of a cool thing, I think. You know, it's several DX rocks later because they don't last all that long. If you want a nice stable one, you got to keep buying fresh ones. But as they break in, they still fly great. I would imagine a lot of people like a broken-in rock better than a brand new one. But yeah, rocks are solid discs. Not anything I ever really carried. I had an old KC rock in the bag for a little while that I did like. I forget what replaced it for me. I'm not even sure, honestly. I was throwing it for a while. I might have lost it and then got something else. What is that? What is it about that with disc golfers too, where I see this all the time? They've talked about it on Disc Golf Answer Man, but I've seen it all the time where people will say, I lost this disc, I lost my T-Bird, I'm looking to replace it, but they don't want to just get another T-Bird. I don't understand that. And I've done that myself, where I've like lost a disc and then I bought something different. And it's like, if you like the T-Bird and you lost the T-Bird, why don't you just get another T-Bird? There's some kind of weird mental thing with disc golfers that we do that. I'm not sure why that is. And I've been trying to figure out a way to like bring that up in a video, but I'm not exactly sure how to title it or anything like that. Maybe just in a beginner's advice, another advice podcast or something like that, I can just be like, hey, if you're throwing a buzz and you really like it and you lose the buzz, don't try to replace it with something else. Just get another buzz. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's me. All right, y'all. I think I'm about to roll out of here unless anybody has any questions or concerns for me. Wild Will says he lost a Sidewinder. Not him. He lost a Sidewinder. Went and bought another Sidewinder. There you go. I think that's the proper way to approach that. All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful morning. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello. I appreciate all your support very much. Tomorrow is Fresh Plastic Friday. We'll have a brand new review out Friday morning. So stay tuned for that. If you guys are interested. Definitely appreciate all you guys very much. Throw them well out there. Get in touch with me if you need any custom stamped discs. I still have a handful left. I'm trying to work through them so that I can be ready to go and put in another fresh order. Probably, might even wait until spring at this point. We'll see. All the best. I'll check you all very soon. Cheers.